Hello and welcome again. In this lecture, I am going to tell you about the fluid mechanics. It is a very important subject of mechanical engineering. Now, in this lecture, I will tell you about the basic thing that will be very important for the fluid engineering and fluid mechanics subject. Okay, so first of all, you must know what is fluid. Fluid. Now, there will be some property on the basis of which you can say that a specific substance is a fluid or solid. Now for the fluid, there will be a property of fluidity. That is, it has tendency to flow continuously under the application of shear stress. Now if there will be a shear stress, then fluid has tendency to flow. In solid, there is a term called shear strain. But in solid, shear strain does not changes with time under the application of constant loading. But in the fluid, this shear strain will continuously changes. That is why shear strain rate is very important. Shear strain rate. Because under the application of constant shear stress, there will be continuous deformation, or you can say that there will be a continuous deformation in the shear strain. That is, shear strain rate is very important. Shear strain rate. Okay. Now in the fluid, shear stress tau is directly proportional to shear strain rate, that is del phi by dt, or this is directly proportional to velocity gradient. This is for 1D, and if you will study in 2D, this shear stress will be directly proportional to this one. Okay. Now then what we understand about the fluid, there will be a continuous deformation under the application of shear stress, or you can say that fluid has tendency to flow under the application of shear stress. We know that there are certain properties that is related to thermodynamics and fluid mechanics. So you can say that there are some properties that are related to fluid. Okay, what are the properties that are related to fluid? There are two types of properties. The first one is intensive and the second one is extensive. Same as in thermodynamics. Intensive means independent of mass. And extensive means dependent on mass. Then what are the properties that are independent of mass? Is velocity, temperature, pressure and viscosity. But which viscosity? Kinematic or dynamic? Then it will be kinematic viscosity, because its unit is meter square per second. There is no mass. Okay, you can say that it is a shortcut to remember kinematic viscosity is intensive or extensive. There is no mass. But in dynamic viscosity, the unit is kilogram per meter per second or Newton second per meter square. There is mass. That is why it is extensive property. Then except this, what are the extensive properties? There is total volume, total mass and many more. There is total momentum. These are the extensive properties because these are the dependence on mass. One thing that I would like to tell you that my lectures will be totally numerical oriented. It will be not derivation oriented. So for the numerical, the important thing is you must remember the units of quantities that will be used in fluid. What are the quantities that will be used? The first one is the viscosity. Second one is shear stress. Third one is surface tension. And these are the basics. So you have to remember the unit of these three units, these three quantities. So first of all, you must know what is the viscosity. Viscosity, what is the viscosity? So viscosity is the property. Viscosity is the property of fluid. It is a kind of resistance between the fluid layers. You can simply say that there is a resistance between a fluid layer, because of which viscosity arises. What is the surface tension? Surface tension is also a property. It is a binary property because it appears at a binary phase, that is if there is a liquid and there is other phase, then at the interface there occur a property, fluid property, that is called surface tension. And shear stress is not the property, it depends on the viscosity. As per the Newton's law of viscosity, okay. Now first of all, how many types of fluid? I would like to tell you one more thing. How many types of fluids are there? Okay, the first one is Newtonian fluid. And the second one is non-Newtonian fluid. Okay, so I have to erase this. What is Newtonian fluid? If in any fluid, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain rate or velocity gradient, directly proportional to velocity gradient, this is called Newtonian fluid. Okay, if we omitted this proportionality sign, there will be a quantity appear, that is called viscosity. Now this is the formula for shear stress in fluid. What is non-Newtonian fluid? Non-Newtonian fluid. The fluids that doesn't follow the Newton's law of viscosity, that is shear stress is not directly proportional to shear strain rate or not directly proportional to velocity gradient. There will be some extra terms. If we say that there are mainly three types of fluids. The first one is Bingham, pseudoplastic, dilatant, okay. So there are two more fluids, that is called thixotropic and rheopectic. These are for these two the viscosity is directly viscosity is dependent on time. Okay, the viscosity is dependent upon time. So please let me erase this. I will again tell you what are these fluids and by the graph I will make you understand how non-Newtonian fluid appears and how can you easily remember how many types of non-Newtonian fluids are there and how viscosity varies with the velocity gradient. Okay, for the non-Newtonian fluid, you have to remember a graph. This one, where this axis is velocity gradient and this is tau shear stress. And one more equation that you have to remember, that tau is tau naught plus, or you can say that this is B, is directly यहाँ पे tau is equals to B plus mu du upon dy to the power n. This is the equation of shear stress that will be applied at Newtonian fluid. Okay, so this first term for the Bingham plastic, it will be a tau naught, that is initial shear stress, that will be applied to start the flow. Okay, for the Bingham plastic only, and for other, that is for the pseudoplastic and dilatant, it will be 0, and for the rheopactic and thixotropic there will be this term also, and for, you can say that for the rheopactic and thixotropic, this term will also be there, Bingham plastic plus these two. So how you can remember? So for the Newtonian fluid, shear stress is directly proportional to velocity gradient. So this line will be a constant line, that is so viscosity. If on increasing the velocity gradient, our shear stress increases, or fluid viscosity increases, that is called dilatant. Okay, if on increasing the shear stress the viscosity decreases, this is called pseudoplastic. For the Bingham plastic, there will be a initial shear stress tau, then it will follow the same graph of Newtonian fluid. This is called Bingham plastic. Okay. Now there is two more fluid, rheopactic and thixotropic. So there is a branch of fluid engineering in which we study the non-Newtonian fluid, and that branch is called rheology. What is called rheology? So this rheopactic line will be something like that. This is rheopactic, and this line is called thixotropic. Now I will tell you how for these two fluids viscosity dependent on time, and what is thixotropic and what is shear thinning and shear thickening fluids. Basically there are some fluids on which you can say that time is major factor. On increasing the time, shear stress increases. You can say that for blood, if you take the blood at simple air temperature, simple in atmosphere, on increasing the time it continuously solidified. Okay, or you can say that viscosity continuously increases. So this is dependent on time. Viscosity is dependent upon time. So there are two types of fluid on which viscosity is dependent on time. This is viscosity and this is time. So there are two types of fluid. The first one, shear thickening, and shear thickening. Shear thinning means on increasing the times viscosity continuously decreases or shear stress decreases, or shear thickening is called on increasing the time viscosity increases or shear stress increases. So you can say that this is shear thickening fluid. Shear thickening fluid. And this is also called rheopectic. Okay, and this one is shear thinning. This is called thixotropic. Okay, there is a shortcut, that is, this is called thixotropic. Name is thick, but is not thick, it is called thin. Okay, shear thinning. Thixotropic is shear thinning. It's very important and very easy to learn how you can easily make this graph and easily remember what kind of fluid it is. Okay. Now for the Newtonian fluid, shear stress directly proportional to velocity gradient. This is the formula that you have to remember. Okay, velocity and density is the formula of density, and the unit of density you have to remember, that is m by v. This is also called mass density or specific mass. Okay, specific weight omega, specific weight. The specific means in thermodynamics, specific means divided by mass, but in fluid specific means divided by the volume. Specific weight will be divided by volume, that is Newton per meter square, Newton per meter cube, and this is kg per meter cube. Okay, now there is a relative density. Relative density means the density of fluid 1 upon density of fluid 2. Fluid 2. Since both are the density, so it will be unitless. That you have to keep in your mind. This is relative density, and there is also one quantity is also something, it will be appear like relative density. It is called specific gravity. Specific gravity. This is the rho of fluid upon density of standard fluid, that is water. This will also be unitless. Okay. So you have to remember the unit of all these quantities. So we can move on for the surface tension. Surface tension is also property. Surface tension is also property of fluid. It is a binary property because it appears at the interface of the two fluid. So there are two cases. The first one is air bubble, and the second one is water drop. And the basic thing is, the important formula is for excess pressure, that you have to remember. How can you remember this, or how can you easily derivate this? I will tell you. For the first case, there is the air bubble. So this is the air bubble, where inside is air, outside is air. Just cut it. Okay. And for the 2D, this will be a case. This will be a, so this side and this side, this is the radius r and this is the radius r. So you, if at this side you have, write the formula, that is sigma by r upon sigma by r. This is called 2 sigma by r, that is the formula for excess pressure P. Due to excess pressure, it is called outside. there is that indicate that inside the fluid there is some excess pressure in comparison to our atmosphere, and this excess pressure is this one, and this is for the air bubble. No, this will be for water bubble. This will be for water bubble. Why? Because there is only one interface. This is one, but there is for the, this is for water bubble. Sorry for, because I have told you that this will be for air bubble, this will be for water bubble. For the air bubble there will be two interfaces. There is air water and inside also air water. So this element will be something like that. Since this distance is very less, so we can make that this is also R and this one is also R, the radius of bubble. This is R and this is R. If you write the formula for excess pressure is, there is 2 times of sigma by R, and this is also 2 times of sigma by R plus 2 sigma by R. So this, the excess pressure formula will be 4 sigma by R. Okay, so this is the formula. You can easily derive this without any other equilibrium of forces. You can easily derive from this. As per the law of hydrostatic of pressure, the formula for pressure is del P upon del Z, it directly proportional to minus by omega, where omega is a specific weight. A specific weight. What is the unit? Newton per meter cube, and the formula is rho into g, where rho is the density and g is the gravitational acceleration. Okay, so if you write this in the form of capillary rise, then what is the formula for P? P is rho gh. P is rho gh. There is Z. There is no problem. Okay. Then write the formula. Write the formula. No. This is the for the surface tension. Del P is not pressure. This is excess pressure. Then what is the formula for excess pressure? Excess pressure for the water bubble. Water. 2 sigma by R. 2 sigma by R. Just write here 2 sigma by R. 2 sigma by R, and on the place of Z you have to write H, and on the place of omega, this is, you can simply, if you write H, it will be plus automatically, because as we increase the Z, pressure will be decreased, but in the case of H, we make understand that it is toward the downward, that why this negative sign eliminated. This is called rho g. Okay, then what is the formula for capillary rise H? This is 2 sigma upon rho g R. But this is half formula, because there is, if this is the pipe and there is the fluid, then this make angle theta, where what is the effect of theta? So we always take along this. This is the cos component. That's why there will be cos theta. Okay, you can easily derivate. This will be R, and on the basis of sigma by R formula you can, and this is a smaller. Okay, on the basis of this formula that I have made, that is, you have to take a cross section, this one, and this is R, this is R. You can easily derive it. That is, the capillary rise H is 2 sigma cos theta upon rho g R. Okay. Now I think, no, one thing that I have also want to tell you, that is continuum. What is continuum? Continuum means the system dimension is far larger than the molecular distance. Suppose these are the atom. Okay, there are some gap. This is lambda. Okay, and this is my, and this is the tip of my this pen, because I am showing the molecular level this one, so I can also show this tip as this one, and this is D, this is L. There is a number called Knudsen number. What is the formula? Knudsen number is lambda by L. If this is 0.001 less than 0.01, then continuum will be applied. Continuum will be applied. If this is equal to 10, less than, or you can say that this is less than 10 but greater than this one, then there will be a transition state. But if lambda by L is greater than 10, then continuum will not be applied. Continuum not applied. This also appear in rarefied gas flow theory, that is also part of thermodynamics and fluid. Okay, so Knudsen number is very important. That formula is important, but I don't think so in any exam it was asked. So just for knowledge, keep it in your mind, so you can make someone else understand what is continuum and how continuum apply. Continuum means continuous distribution of matter, or continuous distribution of matter, or it is the state of any object in which we can take the average quantity, average property of that quantity. The continuum simply means the system dimension will be far high than the molecular distance, and there will be a continuous pressure and continuous distribution of mass. Okay, now if you have any query, write it in comments, so I can solve your queries and give you comments on that, how can you easily remember. I will make other video on pressure. I will start pressure. That is why I have told you many things up to surface tension, because surface tension also plays very important role in, crucial role in pressure. Okay, thank you.